Hello. I'm all official with my headset and everything. And I'm just turning things on and setting them up. So we're ready to go at 1:30. I don't know if I'll be able to tell if anybody shows up, but here we are. And I do want to say, if there's anyone there, or even if you're not, that this is an experiment. This is only the second time I've tried the live at YouTube through a link in Facebook pre-scheduled. So if you attempt to join or attempted to and are seeing this after the fact, please put a comment or send me an email at lila@unicallen.com. That's Lila at unicallen.com. And let me know if there were issues, what they were, so I can learn. Learning is good. All right. We are at officially 1:30. So, hello. My name is Lila, and I am a happiness practitioner. And this is Introduction to the Happiness Practice. And what happiness means for me, basically, is that every day I do my best to live my truths, to act in alignment with my values, with the things that bring me joy and make my world a better place. And the basic tenet of happiness is that I am the only one who knows what my truths are. I'm the only one who knows what's right for me because I'm the only one who knows how I feel and I'm the only one who knows how I do things. So, for everyone, happiness in general is going to feel different. So, it is always about the personal perception of things. We're going to have a different definition, we're going to have a different feeling. We are going to have different ways of reaching things. So, the purpose of this class and the classes that follow or that have come before is not about showing you this is the way that you reach happiness. It is saying, this is my perception on how I reached happiness. These are my philosophies. And hopefully, something within the class, something that I do or say will evoke a feeling, a response, a thought in you that will help you create your happiness path. So, what I'd like to do to start is just breathe. Breathing, as always, is very important. So, sit back or stand back and relax and just blow out all the breath. Just let it all go. And inhale and exhale. And the beauty of breathing, which is the basis of centering, is that as we inhale, we can feel that breath go into the body. And we kind of allow ourselves to say, I am here. And as we exhale, we can feel the muscles relax, we can feel the body settle, and we can push away all the stuff that we don't need. It is about creating our space. So inhale and exhale. And allow yourself and your attention to come to this time and this place so that you can hear what you need to hear and see what you need to see. And I can say what I need to say to create a better world. So while we're here, breathing gently and kind of centered, take a moment to answer this question. What does happiness mean to you? Because that's what's important is your perception. When someone says happiness, what do you think? When someone asks you, what brings you happiness? What helps you feel happiness? What do you feel? When you say, I want to be happy, what feeling are you aiming for? And just take a moment, she says as she continues talking, and allow yourself to feel what happiness feels like. Picture the moments or the people or the activities in which you feel or with which you feel happiness. And there is a distinct difference that I want to make clear. Those people or that thing or that activity does not bring you happiness, but you feel happiness when you are, or whatever you feel, with or doing or at or have. So the activity and the feeling are technically two different things, but one evokes the other, cause and effect. So what brings happiness? Deep down, only you need to know the answer. What brings happiness? And what does that happiness feel like? Where do you feel it? In your fingers, in your stomach, in your heart, in your head? Is it a relaxation or a tension, an adrenaline rush, or a singing of blood through the veins? What does it feel like? Or is it calm? Or is it an absence of feeling? Happiness is also not about labeling things, just so you know, but that is how we're taught, so we start with labels. But what does it feel like? How and where do you feel it? So for me, happiness is a feeling of peace, a feeling of Zen or nirvana, a feeling of depth and space. It is more than just the positive attitude, the silver linings, the unicorns and the rainbows and dancing in the rain. And I do believe in all those things. But happiness is deeper than that. Often when I say I'm a happiness practitioner, the response I get is, well, that's awesome. And, positivity has a place in the world, but my friend has this tragedy going on in her life. And how is she supposed to be happy then? And so, in a way, happiness is a misnomer. It is not about that feeling of being happy, which is often how I associate the word or did at the beginning of time. Um, because you can grieve deeply and still be a happiness practitioner. I can be supremely angry and still be a happiness practitioner. I can be giggly. I can be philosophical. I can be any emotion that you can think of, and I have been most of them, and still be a happiness practitioner, because the happiness is not about always feeling positive and up. Happiness is about, for me, always feeling the connection, the peace, the unconditional love, the expansion of the universe. So, for me, the goal of the happiness practice is not to be false. It is not to always see the glass as half full. It is to feel that even in this moment of transition, when it seems everything is terrible, that there is a next step, that there is more, that there is peace, that there is something indescribable, and it really is indescribable. But if you can imagine unconditional love, which is the love that they talk about in spirituality, because it is accepting of everything, everything, everything. Things that we would judge terrible, accepted. Things that we would judge wonderful, accepted. Everything accepted equally. That is happiness. Every experience, every truth is accepted equally by me. So, all right, here is how we get there. Because the basis, as I said, of happiness is you are the only one who knows what's right for you. I am the only one who knows what's right for me. And I know that these are falling off my head, so I will adjust. Okay. And how do I know that that's right? How can I prove that to you? Because we are all different. And here is the first exercise to show that. So I'm going to move the camera. You might want to close your eyes if your perception gets a little wobbly when things move. Okay. This is the perception game. And this is something that I learned in school, so you may have as well. Basically, you pick an object, and it does not have to be this object here in the computer screen. You can pick an object in your room or wherever you are. You want it to be an object that's at a distance, which is kind of why the computer screen actually is a good idea, because you get a better effect when it's at a distance. So you are looking at the object. Pick an object and look at it. Yep, that's an object. Not quite sure what it is, but it's an object. Okay, and I apologize if there's weird noises as I show you, even though I'm not showing you. So as you look at the object, cover one eye and continue looking at the object. Just really look at it. Notice if you can make out the edges. What are the contrasts? Where does the light shine? Darker or lighter? What colors do you see? Does your eye keep switching over to something else? What is the size of the object and the distance from the wall? Is it blocked out by all the light behind it? Really look at the object. Okay, now take your hand away, maybe blink a little, and switch to the other eye. Cover the other eye and look at the object. Now, what does it look like? What are the things that stand out? Does it seem darker or lighter? Can you tell more or less what it is? Does it seem closer or farther from the wall? Do the colors stand out more or less? What do you notice with this eye? Are you more easily distracted by the things on the side? Okay, take down your hand, blink a little again. Now here's the fun one. You take your hand and you switch from eye to eye. Back and forth, you can start slow and see the differences. And then as you get comfortable moving from eye to eye, or if it's easier, opening and closing one eye after the other, so blinking on each eye, go faster. Staring at the object, but switching your vision from one eye to the other. And it kind of should look like the object moves, which is why it's a good idea to have it farther away. Even if nothing else is different, it should look like the object is moving. Take one more moment, cover one eye, and then cover the other and really notice what the differences are. With this eye, it looks closer. With this eye, it looks darker. Just notice. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera back. So do what you need to do. So that is the perception game. What are your two different perceptions with your two different eyes? This can also be done with ears. Cover one ear, then the other as someone is speaking or not, and see how things sound different on different sides of your face. I believe our taste buds are different on each side of the tongue. I'm not sure if it works with the nostrils. Do you smell more with one than the other? But if there are sinus issues, then you know that one nostril works better than the other. And of course, touch. You're going to feel different things on different fingers based on your nerves and where you're touching. But easiest for me to focus on the eyes because that's always been a thing and that's how the game started. Two different perceptions of one object, just with this much space between those two bits. Now, also, one I could probably see better than the other. I know I have two different visions, as they call it through the doctor, two different strengths. So one is going to obviously view better than the other, even with corrective lenses. There was definitely for me a difference in the light and the dark. But the important thing is that movement that happened between the two different eyes, that it felt like it was shifting from one side to the other, when actually I was seeing from one side to the other, two different perspectives, one person. So then, if I can see two different perspectives for something, how different is the perspective of my neighbor? And let's imagine we all have neighbors, that the room you are in is filled with people standing shoulder to shoulder. Each one of those people are going to see that object differently. They're going to see it from a different angle. They're going to see it with different light. Even if all of our eyes are the same, there is going to be that difference in space, that difference in perception. So we all have a different perspective. Okay, awesome. So how about if we just all keep switching places so that then everybody can get that same perspective. Our current physics laws, at least the last time I checked, is that no two objects can occupy the same space at the same time. So even if I am standing here and I see the object, and then I take one step, and the next person steps in exactly the same place with exactly the same visual acuity and sees the same object, time has passed. The earth has rotated. The light has changed. Dust has fallen. The object has aged, and so have I. And these are minute, minuscule differences when we're talking seconds, but it still is a different perspective. Looking at the same object, different space and time equals a different perspective. Now, of course, videotape. We're all seeing the same object at the same time. Woohoo! But we all have a different perspective. Not only because we're going to have different visual, physical attributes, but because we're going to have different equipment, different video monitors, different sound systems. We're going to be sitting in different spaces from the image that we see. We'll have each taken a different stance, might even be a millimeter off. But there's still going to be a difference because we all have different instruments through which we are viewing the object that we viewed. And that does not take into account our physical differences, which we all have. And if you take a moment and compare yourself to me, I'm sure you can quickly come up with 3 different physical attributes that I have from yours. I mean, your hair is not going to be colored the same way that mine is. You'll be wearing different jewelry. Those are the easy ones, the PC ones. We're going to be different weights. We're going to be different sizes. We're going to be different heights and different widths, which means we will occupy space differently. Each and every one of us is physically different. We each have a different perception. And besides the physical differences, there are the mental ones, how we process the information, how we view the information that's going to be processed. When you looked at the object, did you think first, what is it? Or did you think about the colors? Or did you think about the spatial differences? Did you think about it artistically or as a logic problem? Every single one of us viewed the object as something different. So we're all different. And we all have a different perspective. And I want to add one more thing to drive the point home. Let's say we were all the same exact size and the same exact width, and we had the same exact visual implements and physical implements, information gathering techniques. We all were the same, and we were all exactly the same distance from the computer screen that was exactly the same for everybody. And we're going to look at the object again. Should we all see the same thing? Should we all have the same perspective on the object? We'll take a moment. We're getting ready to look at the object again. What are your expectations? You already have an image in your mind, most likely, of what you're going to see. You already have a foundation on which to build. So I'm going to turn the camera again. And really look at the object again. Is it different than you remembered? Or whatever object you're looking at in your room. Can you see more now since you already had a foundation to work on? Are you automatically doing the I thing? Are you going, what is that weird object? The weird object, let's see if I can get you a good, is a candle holder shaped like a tree, an old man in a tree with lots of wax around it. Now, how do you see the object? Even if we were all the same, had all the same physical attributes, had all the same information processing equipment, we would all have different experiences simply from stepping out of the birthplace in a different space. And therefore, that one moment of different perspective is a different foundation for all the rest of our experiences, which means a different foundation for all the rest of our perspectives. There is a story, another one. I learned a lot as a kid and only just learned to put it together. It was about 6 Chinese men first meeting an elephant. They were blind. I don't know why they were Chinese. Maybe they didn't have elephants back when this story was created. But 6 elderly men, and now I guess PC, we should say 6 elderly beings who are blind. The blind is the important part. And they are meeting an elephant for the first time. And so each being is going to approach the elephant in a different spot because they can't all crowd into one spot and touch the elephant. So one gets the tail, and one gets the knees, and one gets the trunk, and one gets tusks, and one gets an ear. And I don't think that's 6. But imagine them ranged around the elephant, and they put their hands up, and they each get a different part of the elephant. And I think the important thing about it being an elephant is because an elephant has different textures in different parts. The tail is really skinny, and I think it's kind of reptilian, as opposed to the trunk, which is much wider, but still ridged, as opposed to the ears, which are long and kind of flappy, and the tusks, the smooth ivory tusks. And the knees, very skin wrinkly. And so each one is going to start off with that first impression. This is what an elephant feels like. Now, the moral of the story is that they're all wrong because they say, no, an elephant feels scaly and small and thin, and no, an elephant feels smooth and curved, and no, an elephant feels long and sinuous. I don't think that any blind person is going to base their perception on something just off of one feel. They're going to go around the whole object and build the image in their system, in their brain, or however that is processed. But they each will start with that foundation. So as the person who had hold of the tail moves to the left to feel the flank and maybe go down to the knees, he's going to be comparing that new information to the old information and building the picture upon the foundation of the long whippy tail. And the person who had the tusks first, those smooth ivory tusks, is going to go around the elephant and go to the ears and compare the weird leathery skin, this big mass of floppy skin, to that small, hard ivory tusk. And his foundation, her foundation, the foundation is going to be based on the first experience, the first perception, the first bit of information that was gathered, which is a long way of saying that even if we were all the same, our stories all start in a different spot. We did not all gather around the elephant at the same spot at the same time. We each started in a different place. And because we start in a different place, our perspective is always, always, always going to be different than the person next to us. Always. If you have siblings, then you know that this is true, most likely. You and your siblings have different outlooks on life, raise your children differently, have different philosophies or different consequences for things that happen, even though you might say the same things. And I sound like my mom, I sound like my dad, but it is still coming from a different perspective. It is still being presented to the world in a slightly different light because you and your siblings are all different people. Come out of a conference with 20 people on your team and you all had the same great conference, but you're all going to get different information from it. Every single person who sees this video or sees the classes in a different format or who reads the book, which will be coming out, is going to get different information from this because we all have different foundations. We all have different definitions of things. We all have different ways of receiving the information, of processing the information, which means we all have different perspectives. And every single thing that we see, that we experience, that we feel, every bit of information that we get, every activity we do, every person we interact with, every energy that we exchange is interpreted, processed, and put through the individual definition creator, the computer in the brain. And we all process things differently. We all have different ways of looking at the world. We know that some people are extremely creative in music and other people are extremely creative with numbers. We know that some people are able to run miles and other people can barely walk out the front door. We know that we each have different ways of seeing things and different ways of processing things. And so we each have different perspectives. We each have different truths. There is a less popular saying, common sense isn't, which basically means that it is not common amongst us all. Maybe certain people in a certain way of living, all the gypsies may have a common sense or a culture. These are the rules that you follow in this situation. Everyone who is a welder may have a specific set of rules that they follow. That is their common sense. Like, don't turn on the torch when it's pointing at your face. But for somebody else who's never seen a torch, they may not know that. It is not common sense because they don't have a foundation or the information to create that piece of wisdom. We each have different foundation based on our different perspectives from the moment that we were born. And so we each have different definitions of things. We each have different ways of saying things. Sometimes they're right. And so everything that we see and process becomes our truth and our brain, always seen from my perspective. So I am the only one who knows how I perceive that object, whether I perceive it as a blob or a candle holder or a tree or an object, or ugly, or pretty, or distant, or spatially in the wrong spot for that window. I am the only one who knows how I truly see it, and I'm the one who put it there. I am the only one who knows how doing this video at this moment makes me feel. I can present whatever face I want. I can work through the words. I can submit a positive outcome because that's what I do. But I'm the only one who really knows how I feel inside. You are the only one who really knows how each of these words affects you. You're the only one who knows if what I'm saying is making sense to you. It doesn't mean that you are smarter or less smart. It doesn't mean that you process the right way or not. You're processing your way. I am presenting my way. Sometimes they mix and sometimes they don't. But we each are the only ones who know that. I am the only one who knows how I feel. You are the only one who knows how you feel. And all of that information and all of that truth makes each and every one of us the center of our universes. Because everything I receive is processed from this perception right here, from this point of view. Every piece of information that comes at me is processed through this brain, through these eyes, through these ears, through these fingertips, through this tongue, through this nose, blah, 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 and put into the little computer up here and compared to all the information that I had before, and then a judgment is created. But it's all from this perception. So can I know how you feel? No. Can I know that I have felt something like how you feel? Yes. I am empathetic and intuitive and psychic and do a lot of energy work. And I can often say things and I can often feel what other people are feeling, but I still cannot know exactly what is right for you because it is what I'm feeling processed through the center of my universe. And what you are putting off may be what you're feeling out here, but it might not be the truth of what is going on in you because you are the center of your universe. You're the only one who knows what's right for you. I'm going to check my notes. And I would say at this time, if you have any questions, please make a comment. But if my video graphics are correct, no one is connected. So if you have any questions, if something didn't make sense, if I spoke too fast, which I tend to do because I am so passionate about this, please put a comment under the video, do it on the Facebook or on my website. Send me an email, lila@uniqueallen.com. That's UNICALLEN.com. And let me know what the question is. Let me know what I need to explain more or better. We will recap. We each have a different perspective because we each gather information from a different point in space and time. We each process that information differently. And because of all of the experiences and all of the information that we have had, our foundation, we each come up with a different conclusion for the information that we have. Some of it's going to be similar. There are a lot of like-minded people. But that just means that we are attracted to the same energy or we speak a similar language. But we each are different. I cannot walk in your shoes and experience what you experience. I can walk in your shoes and experience what I experience. I can live your life for a day and experience things that you have experienced, but I will process them and experience them based on my previous existence, based on my definitions, based on my way. Sauce for the goose is not sauce for the gander. In fact, sauce for the goose is not necessarily the right sauce for the next goose, because no two geese are the same. Even if they live in the same marsh, one might have gotten a juicier bit of grass than the other. And so they're going to taste a little different. They've lived for a different length of time. They have experienced different things. So the sauce for each one needs to be different. And it will be different because it's made at a different time. The ingredients will be different. The way it boils will be slightly different. There'll be more dust in the pan or less dust in the pan, or the heat will be just 1/100th of a degree off. It is always different. We each are the only ones who know what's right for us because we each are the only ones who know what's really, really, really true in here. I am the only one who knows how I feel. Underneath all of the information, underneath all of the learned behaviors, underneath all of the habitual responses, underneath all the 50 years of experiences, I am the only one who knows what I really feel when I'm able to reach that feeling. You are the only one who knows what you really feel. You're the only one who knows how things really affect you. If rock and roll really is your jam, or if you'd much rather have a string quartet, you're the only one who knows how it feels inside. And happiness, the practice of happiness, is getting through all of that information and getting through all of those learned behaviors and getting through all of the things I think I'm supposed to be feeling because that's what I was told or that's how other people appear, to know what I really feel, to know what my truth is. And it is the truth of this moment. It's not the truth of last moment. Last moment was something else. I had different information and different experiences then. What do I feel now? I'm the only one who knows. For me, happiness is expansive. It is more than positivity. It is the feeling of being without expectation, without responsibility, without trying to be something or other. Happiness is just being wholly, completely, fully, whatever I'm feeling in the moment. Happiness is releasing the drama in a way because that's what all that reaction is. It's just drama. It is trying to achieve something. And for me, that's not happiness. For me, happiness is just being. What am I feeling? And all of my truths, all of my actions, when I am in happiness, come from aim for maintaining that being when I feel my best, when I feel expansive and light and connected, when I feel happy. No one can tell you what your values are. No one can tell you what your truth is. And no one can tell you what your happiness is except you. For me, happiness is the freedom and responsibility of knowing that I am the only one who knows what's right for me. I'm the only one who gets to choose. I'm the only one who knows what I truly feel. Doing these videos, writing the book, talking about happiness is something that brings me happiness because I believe that if we each know what our happiness is, if we each are operating from our truths, from our feelings, from what we really are, from completely knowing and accepting and being, then the world will be a better place because we'll all be happy. You'll be focused on your happiness and not to be trying to change my world for your happiness. Of course, I'm trying to change my world for my happiness because I think the more people who achieve happiness, who connect with happiness, who live their truths, will be happier. And the happier people there are out there, the more happy people there are out there, the better the world is going to be because it will be about happiness instead of all the other values that we think they should be about. And when we each are focused on our own stuff and being our best selves and bringing out our happiness, and the world is a happier place, I'm going to feel a lot better. I'm going to have to put a lot less work into creating my happy world. And in the end, it is all about me, for me, because I am the center of my universe and I know when I'm happy. So that is what I'm going to work for, living my truths, doing my best, and making the world a better place. So, next class will be in 2 weeks, February 17th at 1:30. Unless I receive information that this did not work well, I'm going to try this format again, which means that it will be available as video after 1:30 on the 17th. The class next week is titled Unique and Equal, and it's basically the second half of Introduction to Happiness. It is about having the freedom to validate myself because it's all great to say, yep, I'm the only one who knows what's right for me. But reaching that truth, really knowing what I feel deep down inside, underneath all the information that I've received, that takes some work. So it'll be another step of how I approach the happiness practice. Between now and then, we have such awesome activities as the new moon, which is tomorrow at 2:04 p.m. I'm talking astrological event. I don't have anything class-wise set up for it. If you follow the lunar energies, the new moon is a good time to release things. It's also a good time to start new projects, to take a fresh look at things and say, all right, I'm going to start focusing on my happiness. What do I truly feel about this? Don't have to do anything about it. Just know what your truth is. Or I'm going to clean my car. It's also a good time, um, arc, wrong word. Anyway, seasonally, to start new things. February 2nd, Groundhog's Day, means that we are definitely getting lighter. The sun is definitely coming out more. We know there's going to be more snow, and if you're in Colorado with me, you know it's most likely going to be hard and heavy sometime in March. But it is still the time when life starts stirring, when it feels like the next step is coming. Another good time to begin things, to plant those seeds, to really start revving up for the things we're going to do. So, what would you like to start? Also, before the next class, we're going to have Valentine's Day, February 14th. I did hear that universal groan. But it is more than a Hallmark holiday. And all the candy in the world does not change its origins, which I've heard is from Saint Valentine, the rebel, who was performing marriages when he was told not to because the Church of England, if I have this correct, said that nobody could get married. Oh, maybe it was in Rome, said England could not have any of the rites performed because their king was not in alignment with what the Mother Church wanted. So Valentine went around and consecrated rituals anyway. So they say it's about love and you're supposed to show your love for each other, but it is also about doing what feels right to you, regardless of what other people say. Go, Valentine! If you have any questions, like I said, my email is lila@uniqueallen.com, Lila at UNICALLEN.com. I do have a website, www.uniqueallen.com. That is Unicorn Allen, UNICALLEN. Um, links to getting the newsletter are on that. I do a blog. Some I do video blogs, some I do written word. I have a book that I am working on, Destiny Foretold, and every time I finish a chapter, I put it up on there. And of course, you can send me emails through that as well. And if you wish to exchange energy, you thought I did a good job, tips are also accepted on www.uniqueallen.com. And I think that's everything. No comments on the thing, no questions for me to answer right now. But please feel free to let me know what works, what doesn't. And I hope to see you on February 17th, or to have you see me if we're talking accurately. And so, the wind will carry my song to you. The sun will warm you with hugs. The earth will hold you strong and true. The river flow, my love, until we are together again, until we see again. Thank you, and I hope you have a great day.